Right, let's talk pigs. More complicated than you'd think. My name is Emmanuel Adji and welcome to the channel. Now, you might think farming is all about leaning on a gate, chewing a piece of straw and watching the money roll in. Well, let me tell you, particularly when it comes to pigs, it's a bit more involved. Choosing the right breed of pig isn't like picking a new pair of wellies. Get it wrong, and you're not just dealing with sore feet, you're dealing with empty pockets, endless vet bills, or worse, pigs that are more trouble than they're worth, which, believe me, is saying something. It's a proper minefield out there, with every so-called expert telling you their favourite is the only one worth having. Today we're going to cut through all that noise. I'm not going to bore you with genetic charts that look like a London Underground map after a night out. Instead, we're going to look at some of the top pig breeds that could actually make you a success, or at least not a spectacular failure in this mucky business. We'll talk about what they're like to live with, because let's face it, you'll be spending a lot of time with these grunting, snuffling, surprisingly intelligent creatures. Whether you're a seasoned hand or just starting out with a couple of porkers in the backfield, there's something here for you. We'll cover breeds that are as old as the hills, and some that are, well, slightly less ancient, but equally useful. From pigs that can practically raise themselves to those that need a bit more TLC, but reward you with meat that'll make your taste buds sing. The point is, there's a pig for every purpose, and hopefully, by the end of this, you'll have a much clearer idea of which one might be the right four-legged, curly-tailed business partner for your particular brand of farming madness. So grab a brew, settle in, and let's dive into the wonderful and occasionally infuriating world of pig breeds. Right, first up, the Berkshire. Now, this isn't some Johnny-come-lately factory-farmed invention. Oh no, this breed is practically ancient, hailing from the county of Berkshire in England, which, as you can imagine, means it's got a bit of history, a bit of class. They say it's one of the oldest recorded pig breeds, and frankly, it looks it in a good way, like a well-preserved, stately home, not a crumbling ruin. They're distinctive chaps, mostly black, but with these rather dapper white socks on their feet, a white splash on their snout, and a white tip to their tail. You certainly wouldn't mistake one for, say, a particularly muddy sheep, which is always a bonus in the dim morning light. They carry themselves with a certain dignity for a pig. Now, you might think a pig with such a pedigree would be a bit of a delicate flower, demanding heated pens and gourmet swill, but you'd be wrong. The Berkshire is surprisingly adaptable. It's got a bit of British bulldog spirit about it, meaning it can cope with a bit of rough weather. Whether you're farming in the chilly, damp climes of its homeland or somewhere a bit warmer, the Berkshire tends to just get on with it. They're not prone to whining about a bit of sun or a spot of drizzle, which is more than can be said for some farmers I know. This hardiness makes them a good option if your setup isn't exactly state-of-the-art climate-controlled luxury, which, let's be honest, most aren't. So why would you bother with this rather refined swine? Well, the main reason, apart from their stoic nature, is the meat. It's renowned for being exceptionally tender, juicy, and beautifully marbled. This isn't your bland, mass-produced supermarket pork. This is the stuff chefs get excited about. It's particularly good for things like charcuterie, if you're feeling adventurous, or just a stonkingly good bacon sandwich. They might grow a tad slower than some of the more modern turbocharged breeds, but as with most things in life, you often find that quality takes a little more time and a little more effort, but usually it's worth it. It's worth. Next on our list is the Duroc, and if the Berkshire is the refined English gentleman of the pig world, the Duroc is more like its brash, successful American cousin. These pigs originated in the United States, and they certainly have that all-American go-getter attitude. They're typically a rather fetching reddish-brown or golden-yellow colour, though you can get them in various shades of red. They're solid, muscular-looking animals, not exactly dainty, but built for a purpose. You look at a Duroc and you think, now there's a pig that means business. They're not really ones for faffing about. They're here to grow, and grow they do. And that brings us to their main selling point growth rate. My word. These things can pack on the pounds. If you're in the business of producing pork efficiently, the Duroc is a breed you absolutely have to consider. They have an excellent feed conversion ratio, which is a fancy way of saying they turn their grub into meat very effectively without wasting too much on just, well, existing. This means less time mucking about, less feed to buy, and a quicker turnaround from piglet to plate or piglet to market, depending on your end goal. For a commercial operation, that kind of efficiency is music to a farmer's ears, even if the pigs themselves just oink. But it's not all about speed and efficiency. What about the end product? Well, the meat quality of the Duroc is generally very good. It's known for being relatively lean, but still possessing good marbling, which gives it flavour and succulence. It's a versatile pork, good for everything from chops to roasts. So you get that rapid growth without necessarily sacrificing too much on the taste front, which is a pretty compelling combination. They are also known for being quite hardy and possessing a generally calm temperament, which is always a plus when you're trying to move a several hundred-pound animal that would rather be doing something else. The Duroc, then, a ruddy good pig in more ways than one. Now let's talk about the Tamworth, sometimes affectionately known as the ginger pig. And for good reason, they sport a rather fetching coat of red-gold hair, making them stand out in any field. Originating from Staffordshire in England, these are another of the old, traditional British breeds, and they're built for a life outdoors. They have long snouts, perfect for rooting about and foraging, and strong legs that can carry them over rougher terrain than some of their more cosseted counterparts. They're not the bulkiest pigs you'll ever see, often described as being more bacon type due to their lean, athletic build. They look like a pig that's ready for an adventure, or at least a good rummage in the undergrowth. The real beauty of the Tamworth, however, especially for those of us who value a bit of peace and quiet on the farm, is their temperament. They are renowned for being exceptionally docile and easy to handle. Now, easy to handle is a relative term when you're talking about pigs, but compared to some breeds that seem to have a vendetta against humanity, the Tamworth is a positive delight. They're generally good-natured, not too flighty, and less likely to try and rearrange your kneecaps if you happen to get in their way. This makes them an excellent choice for novice pig keepers or for farming systems where you need to interact with your animals regularly without it turning into a wrestling match. Their sows are also known for being excellent mothers, which is a huge weight off a farmer's mind. So why would you choose a Tamworth over some of the faster growing, heavier breeds? Well, if you're looking for a pig that thrives in an outdoor extensive system, that will happily forage for a good portion of its own food and that won't cause you undue stress with aggressive behavior, the Tamworth is a fantastic option. They are hardy, resilient, and their meat, while lean, is very flavorful, particularly good for bacon, as their nickname suggests. They might not win any races to market weight, but they make up for it in their sheer manageability and their ability to look after themselves, which in the long run can save you a lot of bother and expense. A truly agreeable pig, the Tamworth. All right, let's move on to a breed that you've almost certainly heard of and probably seen, even if you didn't know its name, the large white, sometimes called the Yorkshire pig because, well, it hails from Yorkshire in England. This breed is, as its name suggests, large and very, very white. Or perhaps more accurately, pale pink, but large pale pink doesn't have quite the same ring to it, does it? These are the quintessential farm pigs for many people. Big, sturdy, with distinctive pricked-up ears. They are one of the most popular and widely distributed pig breeds in the entire world, and there's a very good reason for that. They are astonishingly good at what they do. The standout characteristic of the large white, the thing that has made it a cornerstone of commercial pig farming globally, is its reproductive efficiency. And when I say efficient, I mean it. These sows are absolute baby-making machines. They are known for producing impressively large litters of piglets, farrowing with relative ease, and then being excellent, milky mothers that can actually rear all those little squeakers. If your primary goal is to produce a lot of pigs quickly and reliably, then the large white is frankly difficult to beat. They just get on with the business of procreation with a dedication that's almost alarming. More piglets per sow per year means quite simply more potential profit, or at least more pigs to manage. Beyond their incredible mothering skills, large whites are also valued for their good growth rates and their ability to produce a lean carcass with a decent meat yield. They are incredibly versatile. The pork is suitable for everything from fresh cuts to bacon, and they are very commonly used in crossbreeding programs. You'll often find large white genetics being used to improve the maternal traits and litter sizes of other breeds. They might not be the most artisan or heritage choice, perhaps lacking the niche appeal of a Berkshire or a Tamworth. But if you're looking for a reliable, productive, no-nonsense workhorse of a pig, the large white is an absolute powerhouse. You can't argue with those numbers. Last but by no means least in our porcine parade, we have the Landrace. Now this is a breed that when you first see it, you might think it's been stretched. They are notably long in the body, much longer than many other breeds, and they have these rather charming, large, floppy ears that hang down over their eyes, giving them a slightly sleepy, laid-back appearance. Originating primarily from Denmark, though other Scandinavian countries have their own versions, the Landrace was specifically developed for bacon production. That long body means more rashers. You see, they are typically white, like the large white, but their silhouette is unmistakably different. One of the most compelling reasons to consider the Landrace, especially if you're wary of constant animal health headaches, is their reputation for good disease resistance. Now, no pig is completely bomb-proof, and good husbandry is always key. But Landrace pigs are generally considered to be a hardy bunch, less prone to some of the common ailments that can plague other breeds. This inherent robustness can mean fewer vet visits, lower medication costs, and generally less stress for the farmer, which is always a welcome trifecta. Anything that keeps the vet's Land Rover out of your driveway more often is a good thing in my book. They just seem to have a good constitution, built for the job. Aside from their length and their healthy disposition, Landrace pigs are also highly valued for their maternal qualities. Sows are known for producing large litters and being excellent mothers, with good milk production, much like their large white counterparts. They also boast good feed conversion rates and produce a high percentage of lean meat, making them very efficient from a commercial perspective. They are often used in crossbreeding programs to impart these desirable traits: length, leanness, and mothering ability to other lines. So if you're after a pig that's long on bacon, strong on health, and a solid, reliable producer, the Landrace is definitely one to keep on your shortlist, a truly practical pig for the practical farmer. Right, so there you have it. 5 of the best, or at least 5 of the most interesting and useful pig breeds you might consider for your farming enterprise, or even your ambitious back garden project. As you've probably gathered, there's no single perfect pig. If there were, farming would be easy, and where's the fun in that? Some, like the Duroc, will grow faster than a politician's expenses claim, while others, like the Tamworth, are so laid back they're practically horizontal. Then you've got your prolific baby makers like the large white and your posh, tasty Berkshires. It all depends on what you want. Quick profit, amazing taste, an easy life, or just something to fill that empty sty. My advice? Don't just take my word for it, or anyone else's for that matter. Do a bit more digging. Talk to farmers who actually keep these breeds. Consider your land, your climate, your bank balance, and crucially, your patience levels, because pigs, bless their muddy snouts, will test all those things. Hopefully, though, this has given you a solid starting point, a bit of a nudge in the right direction, away from the breeds that are more trouble than a combine harvester with a hangover, and towards something that might actually bring you a bit of success and maybe even a bit of joy. Though with pigs, joy is often fleeting and usually followed by a very large mess. Ultimately, choosing the right pig breed is a bit like choosing a spouse. It's a big commitment, and you'll be spending a lot of time together, so you'd better make sure you can stand the sight of them, even when they're covered in mud and making an infernal racket. Get it right, and you'll have a happy, productive farm. Get it wrong, well, let's just say you'll learn a lot. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which pig breed you think is the king of the sty. Cheerio!